What's up, Grizz Nation, and welcome into another edition of 3 Point Stands presented by Mountain Dew. I am Megan. I got John Roser on the end, and we have a special guest, Grizzlies player who we like to say who had the longest 10-day contract ever. It's Anthony Tolliver. He's live from the bubble in Orlando, Florida. Anthony, we appreciate the time. I know you guys are super busy and you're pushed to the playoffs.
Yeah, we're trying to stay loose and hopefully get a couple more wins. But yeah, no problem.
I mean, Anthony, let's first start with life in Orlando right now. What is it like being there, in all, and then especially being with this Grizzlies team?
You know what? It's been great. I know it's been tough for a lot of people mentally, including myself. I'm not immune to that at all, but just been trying to stay busy. I've been playing a lot of golf, been just trying to get out and move around, instead of just sitting in a hotel room. That's something that can really wear on you after a while. So, but other than that, just kind of settled in, just become the new reality for a little while and just kind of get used to it and, have great people around me.
Who is the best golfer on the team, and who is the guy on the team who they just probably never even need to pick up a club again?
Well, that's a good question. So I didn't get a chance to see everybody golf the day that we all went. Unfortunately, it got rained out. But I have seen about half the guys swing a golf club. And I think Tyus is about the only guy who has previous experience. Pretty much the rest of us, you can kind of put in a category of either terrible or working on it.
Nobody could do the PGA Tour anytime soon.
No, not even. I mean, Tyus is not good. I mean, he's just the best out of us, I would say. But I've been working on it. I'm trying to catch him as the best golfer on the team.
Anthony, I mean, does it feel like you guys have been there for a month?
In some ways, it feels like we've been here longer than a month. And then other ways, I look back and I'm like, wow, we're already to August 10th, which when we first got here, when we first flew here, I was like, I have 4 kids and a wife, and I was thinking this is going to take forever, right? Like to be towards the end or whatever and get to the playoffs. But we're less than a week from the playoffs now. I think the playoffs start in a week, right? So it's pretty crazy to even think about that. But we're just, like I said, just taking it one day at a time. That's really what I've tried to focus on, and I just try to take things one day at a time, one task at a time, one game at a time.
Other than playing basketball, because obviously that's the love. That's what you guys all love to do, and that's why you're down there, is to play basketball. And then obviously golfing. You mentioned that nobody's really that good at it. What's the most fun thing you've done in the bubble?
The most fun thing, other than golf, other than basketball, honestly, like today we had a little celebration for Ja's birthday. That was actually really fun, even though it wasn't your traditional pool party that we would normally go to. It's all dudes. So, I would say that was non-traditional part of it, but it was still really fun. It was still fun to just throw football, and we had water balloon fights and really good food. I mean, it was a good time. And, other than that, I would just say every time we've gotten together as a team, went bowling one night. We've had break bread a couple times where we go to dinner. Other than golf, I would say just us getting together one way or another and continuing to grow closer to as a team.
How was it celebrating a 21st birthday party? I mean, do you remember what you did for your 21st birthday?
I do. So I don't normally, drink alcohol or anything. So in college, even I didn't drink until, I was 21. So it was like a big deal that all my friends, came to a party that I was going to drink for the first time. So yeah, that was fun. Had a good time. And I can't imagine having my, 21st birthday party at a pool with my teammates all dudes, it'd be a little weird. But honestly, worse than that, worse than having your 21st birthday party in the bubble is not being able to, see your child's first birthday. And I felt so bad, for Ja. And he's not the only one. There's I know that there's other guys in here in the bubble who, I think one or two guys maybe even missed the birth of their child to be in here. So there's a lot of sacrifices that goes into this for a lot of guys, varying at different levels. So.
Yeah, I know. Tyus and Kyle are both two of your teammates. They recently had kids. So you mentioned one thing you don't really do is drink alcohol. Another thing you don't do is curse. And I read about this. And so for people, when you first, I think it was one of your first stops in the NBA, and you played with DeShaun Stevenson. So for people that may not know this story, if you can, tell them how DeShaun Stevenson is kind of the guy who actually has an ATM in his house. DeShaun Stevenson is the guy who gave you the confidence that it took for you to stay in the NBA.
Yeah, so that story is pretty funny. I had before I went to Atlanta, I had I think 1 year where I was in Minnesota, shot the ball really well. My second year in Minnesota, hurt my wrist and just tanked my confidence. Was blessed to get an opportunity to go to Atlanta, even though it was a non-guaranteed contract. They still gave me a chance to come in there and kind of reprove myself to show that the year before was more like me than the second year where I didn't shoot well. But I went in there and just played well and in practice and stuff. But what really got me to understand and unlock, I guess, my true abilities to shoot and to be an elite shooter in this league was DeShaun Stevenson just telling me, "Hey, you just got to go out there and say F it. You just gotta go shoot it. Just whatever, F it. Just shoot it." And I was like, well, that sounds really simple, but he's right. Just all right. So I just started doing that. I said, whatever. I don't care about the result. I don't care about, if I'm open, I'm going to shoot it. Because I have the confidence in myself and confidence in the work I've done. So if I don't believe in myself, no one else is going to believe in myself. And so yeah, DeShaun Stevenson still, to this day, he's one of my OGs, one of the guys who, I definitely look up to as far as, mindset. And it helped me develop that mindset as a shooter to say, I'm the best shooter in the gym. I don't care what gym I'm in. That's just how I feel now.
Have you been to his house? Have you seen the ATM? And have you withdrawn money from the ATM?
The answer is no to all of those.
Oh, man.
No, I have not been to his house. I've heard about it. I've heard the story, the myth, and I don't know if I'm sure it's true. But I've heard of the stories. I've never been to his house, and I've never withdrawn money. If I did go to his house, I would make sure that I paid that fee and withdrew money.
Yeah,
sure.
He would get a $250 service fee from you too.
Easily, for sure. I mean, it might be higher because
that's a good hustle DeShaun's got going on right there.
Hey man, you do what you got to do. He's a businessman too, just like me.
And Anthony, coming full circle, DeShaun Stevenson helped you have that confidence to just keep trying and keep shooting. And you look at this Grizzlies team in 2020, you guys have had all the confidence in the world, but yet people on the outside have always counted you guys as the underdog and have doubted you guys a lot. What does that say about this team, and especially when it comes to how you guys have been able to come to Orlando, come together, and always fight back and claw your ways back into these games?
Well, it's definitely something, the underdog, being overlooked and all that different stuff. It definitely has had a role in the way we have responded this year. Even before I was here, obviously. But even now, coming into the bubble, people still were doubting us. After losing a few games here, people continue to doubt us, and that's fine. I I don't have any issue with it. I know the guys here don't have any issue with it. Yes, we haven't played our best basketball. Yes, we've had to deal with injuries, but other people have had to deal with injuries too, right? We're not the only team that has injuries. So there's no excuses. It's both teams, and no matter who you play, you got 5 guys on the court to compete, and we got to go out there and do what we do. And we still control our own destiny. So for us, we just have to continue to make sure that we do that.
What is it with this team about this group of guys? Because Solomon Hill, before he was, dealt at the deadline to Miami, Solomon Hill was sort of quoted as saying, that this was the most fun he had ever had playing basketball at his time in the NBA. And he had played on some really successful teams in Indiana, and been in the playoffs with those Pacers teams with Paul George and Roy Hibbert, and David West and those guys. But he said that this time here, the time that he spent earlier this season, was the most fun he had playing basketball. We know how much Jay Crowder enjoyed playing with these guys. But what is it about the group? Is it something that's just the fact that so many of the guys are so young and they just don't know any better? Is it that? What is it?
Yeah, I mean, me and Justice were actually talking about that just like an hour ago at the pool. I think that's what it is. I think that guys they're young, they don't know any better, they're just having fun, they're just playing basketball, and they're playing basketball and they're keeping it simple. They're keeping it at its simplest form, which is just a game, right? Yes, we make young mistakes. Yes, there's a lot of things that we can improve upon. Experience does matter in this game, no matter how you cut it. But as far as the ability to bounce back from even a loss or multiple losses, to keep positive energy in the locker room, keep positive energy within a group. I've seen and been around teams that you lose a game and it's like the end of the world, right? And honestly, I don't think that's the right approach. Doesn't mean you can't be mad. Doesn't mean you can't have, doesn't mean you want to lose. You can still be highly competitive without it, diminishing your ability to, recover from a loss or from a couple losses. So I think that's why Solomon and Jay both, said, hey, like, this is a great group of guys who, just are good guys. I mean, that's the root. That's the root, is that we just have a group of guys who are just good people at their base. And then from there, everything else, it carries over to the locker room, carries over to the game.
We've heard a lot about the Grizzlies group chat, and, Jaren and Brandon, they've talked about it before, and they said that you're the most vocal in the group chat, whether you guys are always talking about basketball, you're always asking questions, and you're the funniest guy also in the group chat. What is this group chat like? Can you tell us a little bit more?
Those guys said I'm the funniest guy in the group chat?
You're the funniest in the group chat.
Oh, that's an honor. No, I don't know. I mean, I just, change has always been kind of my constant. I've been all over the league. I think I've been on 10 different rosters. No, I've been on 12 different rosters, played for 10 different teams. Played overseas on a couple different teams, played in the G League on 2 different teams, 3 different teams. I mean, so I've been a lot of places, and I've been on a lot of teams, and so I adjust really quickly. And I insert myself into the group really quickly, because I don't know I never know how long I'm going to be somewhere. So might as well get to know people, go to dinner with people, have fun, go golfing, go, just do, right, and be a part of the group and learn who I'm dealing with, who I'm around. And and then naturally, like, I'm a leader. Like, I say that, like, not to pat myself on the back, but, like, I'm the type of guy that if there's something to be done and nobody is taking the initiative, I'm going to take the initiative. If we need to organize something or we need to do something for the group or whatever it may be, like, okay, I'll do it, right? Because that's just my personality. So, naturally, whenever there's group chats or whatever it may be, I'm active because that's just who I am. It's just I always kind of take the lead and take initiative, and but I do appreciate the shout out for being funny. Like it's always a good one.
No, that's good. Like you're the veteran. You're one of the vets on the team. Like when Jay and Solo got traded away, like they were two veteran guys that those young guys really looked up to. So you mentioned some of your stops and you played overseas. So I saw this. You played in Turkey and you played in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
Which country has the better food? I have an idea of what they eat in Germany. What do they eat in Turkey? What do people eat over there?
They eat a lot of turkey. No, I'm joking. That's a dad joke. I do a lot of dad jokes too. I guess I'm a comedian. Supposedly, I don't know.
We used to do this thing during timeouts when Mike Conley was here, because Mike Conley had just become a dad. Mike Conley would do Mike Conley dad jokes. Maybe like when we get fans back in the arenas, we could have Anthony Tolliver dad jokes.
Yes.
Hey man, I'm down for it. I'm all for super, super, super dry, corny jokes. Love them. Honestly, so the food in Germany, there's one particular thing in Germany that I still have not been able to find that is better replicated or replicated anywhere else. And it's hilarious because it's called a Turkish doner, right? Which is kind of like a euro, or a gyro, or a euro, however you say that. Similar to that. I don't really know what the difference is, but it's similar to what that is. And in Greek food, most people know what that is. But it's a Turkish doner, and in Germany, I would get those all the time because they were unbelievable, right? Everything else in Germany, the schnitzel, and you got,
bratwurst,
you got bratwurst. All that stuff's good, but the Turkish doner. So whenever I went to Turkey the following year, I was like, oh, I'm going to Turkey. They have to have the best Turkish doners on the planet. And that just wasn't the case. Like, not even close. Like, they were actually bad, like terrible. And I tried it from multiple places and just could never find anything like it. So the one thing that stands out in Germany was a Turkish doner. And I remember having the best lamb chops of my entire life when I was in Turkey.
Oh, that's amazing. Lamb chops that's my favorite food.
Yeah. So the best lamb chops I've ever had were in Turkey. But in Turkey, though, I lived in Istanbul. And Istanbul has everything. Like, they have TGA Fridays and Chinese restaurants and
KFC and
yeah. I mean, all that stuff. I mean, they had fast food and stuff in Germany too, but we're in a smaller town in Germany, so it wasn't like a crazy amount of like American food, I guess. But in Turkey, you could, they had Turkish food for sure, but like you could find anything you wanted.
It's more like being in like a Chicago or an Atlanta or DC.
Istanbul had, at the time, I think around 19 million people.
Oh, so you're talking New York City, LA's type.
Yeah, I mean, but it's massive though. I mean, like LA. Yeah, but I mean, how many people live in LA? I don't even know.
I mean, it's like the whole LA market, probably like 14, 15 million that live there.
Yeah. So LA traffic, Istanbul traffic might be worse. It was insane, but it was fun. It was great to live there.
We got to find you some lamb chops when you come back to Memphis. I know there's got to be some nice fresh.
Hey, the best, if you can find, just send me to the best lamb chops in the city, and top two, and then I'll compare.
Gotcha. We'll start the list now. So that way, by the time you guys get back here in Memphis, Tennessee, we'll have it all laid out for you on where to go.
Yep.
And I think before we let you go, we appreciate the time on this show. We usually talk about the biggest topic and give our stance. We got to get your stance on the latest that's going on in, college football and college sports, fall sports, and just general. There's a lot of questions on, should there be a fall season? Should there not be a fall season? You're in a bubble, and the NBA has been praised for doing it the right way, and people are trying to mock what you guys are doing. You've been a college athlete before, and college athletes are trying to have a voice in this matter. What's your stance on just everything going on?
Well, definitely safety first. Obviously being in the bubble, seeing it done, being a part of the successful bubble here with the NBA shows that it's possible. It's not the same for these other sports because of the different dynamics. I don't think it can be replicated exactly. But I just think that if they can find ways to, minimize risk and maximize, safety, then I say go for it, play, right? Like I just, and I don't want to sound weird or like a, I don't know, but but like for me, like, COVID and stuff is like, it's definitely something that everybody has to take super seriously, and try to prevent any way we possibly can. But it's also has, been proven so far that it's not been a huge issue for people in our age group, right? Like, so not to say, we're risking lives to go play sports. We shouldn't be thinking like that. But, for me, it's like as long as there's precautions taken, as long as they're showing, that there's a lot of measures in place to keep people safe. I think that they should go play and see what happens. And hey, if it gets too bad, and if it starts being a huge issue, shut it down. I think that's the biggest key. Is like that once they start, they shouldn't be against shutting it down if it becomes too much of an issue.
I mean, luckily, this is above my pay grade. I don't have to make that decision. We all don't, but it's super, it's super hard. And obviously, we'll learn a lot more in the next coming weeks. Anthony Tolliver, we appreciate you and your time. We're rooting for you guys all the way back from Memphis, Tennessee. Good luck when you take on the Boston Celtics on Tuesday, and good luck with the rest of you guys' journey. We want to make it to the playoffs. Let's do it.
Hey, we're going to do what we can. Appreciate you guys.